Hi, this is Charles Hoskinson broadcasting live from warm, sunny Colorado. Always warm, always sunny, sometimes Colorado. Today is November 2nd, 2024. It's a Saturday, last day in the office before I take a few days off. And I figured I'd do a surprise AMA. I haven't done one in a long time. I miss these AMAs. I really do. I enjoy them a lot. I really love talking to all of you. A lot going on in Cardano right now. We're in the middle of Chang plus one. It's on testnet. We're working our way towards that, and soon to be on mainnet, which means we have all these DREPs that will be in Constitution season and budget season. And already lots of people are coming and sharing their opinions. Some are pretty good opinions, others are not so good. And there's a lot of Dunning-Kruger floating around as well. Having run a business for 9 years and in this IO and being in the cryptocurrency space for longer, dealing with hundreds of vendors throughout the world, I will remind people there's no reality where you can get credible, good vendors and have them come in and pay them month to month for long arc projects. You just can't do it. Imagine a construction project where you say, hey, I want the best architects, I want the best engineers, I want the best construction people, and I want them to be totally devoted to my particular job site. And I want them to put the best materials in that job site. But by the way, I'm only going to pay you month to month, and I'm going to give you no certainty. And people with no experience in construction, people who have no idea how to build a building, are going to go and judge the quality of your work. And at any given moment, they can just pull the plug if they think you're overcharging. Oh, and by the way, a construction company over there has no experience at all, never done any of this before, is underbidding you by 30% or 40%. So the people with no experience in construction are going to go over and grab that company and say, well, why can't you match their price? I said, well, I have the best people in the world. That's literally what's happening right now with some of the comments floating around. So it's going to be a bit of education. It's going to be a bit of a fight. I've always been a big proponent of an annual budget, and then it goes to an entity that everybody binds to. A coalition comes together, tasked to do stuff, and then you take a look at the quality of the work on a monthly or quarterly basis. And if the members of the coalition don't do the right thing, you kick them out. So you still have oversight, but you segregate your oversight from the people doing things, and they come together. And you do this on an annual basis. If you do it on a monthly basis and you pay out, you're just not going to get any good people. There's no high quality people. I don't think there's any path forward for IO to participate under that model. How do I make payroll? How do I make long-term commitments? Like, for example, the Stanford laboratory I set up for Cardano is a $4.5 million 3-year commitment. How do I sign a deal like that with Stanford if we're only paid on a month-to-month basis? So after 2 months, because I pissed somebody off on Twitter, you guys cancel the funding. But I'm left with a 3-year commitment with Stanford. I can't sign that deal. So how does it work? You cannot do anything unless you have some form of annualized or beyond that basis if it's long arc work that requires a lot of stuff to do. So it's an education. There's going to be a lot of moving pieces to it. And hopefully over time, people can understand why certain things are being discussed in certain ways. And ultimately, the DREPs get to vote and the Constitutional Committee gets to vote, and they get to decide what to do with the budget process. It's also a really terrible idea of allowing people to surgically go into the budget retroactively and just because they don't like somebody, just shut a person's money off. And it becomes a popularity game, and it's a race to the bottom. You just won't get high quality work over a long arc of time. I mean, this is what's happened with NASA and other agencies is political priorities and preferences change for these long arc programs that they do. And when they do, new president comes in, cuts the budget, new president comes in, changes the budget, new president comes in, changes the budget. And so I guess we're going to Mars. Well, I guess we're not. I guess we're going to Mars and the moon. I guess we're not. Guess we're going to the moon, but not yet Mars. Well, I guess we're not. These types of things. You can't get anything done. You can't do mega projects, and you can't do those things if you don't have some certainty and stability. It also takes time to build up skill sets. Where are you going to hire top formal methods engineers? Where are you going to hire some of the finest scientists in the world? How do you incentivize them to train and learn how your technology works if there's absolutely no certainty in the payout of money for them? Doesn't make any sense at all to me. It feels good. It it really does. You go to Twitter and you say, "Oh yeah, month to month, let's do that. Let's have mob rule over every payment and just pull the money anytime." Or let's have a race to the bottom or an RFP competition for every little dynamic and thing inside the system. Okay, and that race to the bottom is what destroyed Boeing. They used to be one of the most elite engineer organizations in the entire world, and their effort to cut costs at any cost, they handed the keys of the king to the people making $15 an hour, had no experience at all or no business writing aircraft software. And then suddenly the Boeing 737s crash out of the air and the doors fall off. The ununionized people on drugs in the East Coast factories being forced to work 12-hour shifts, 16-hour shifts with limited training. They built some great airplanes, didn't they? How's Starliner doing? That you get what you pay for, and so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that entire debate. And I think Cardano community is really smart. And there's a lot of really good people in it, and people are very skilled and experienced. And Twitter is not reality, so we'll see what happens with it. But it's going to be a big debate. It's going to be a big fight. If we can get to an annualized basis and we can get to a stable structure, then we can actually make real meaningful change. If we can't do that, it'll just be chaos, and it'll be a race to the bottom, and it'll be impossible to maintain Cardano in any meaningful way. And the Treasury will have been a failed experiment, in my view. So we'll see what happens with it. All right, let's get to your questions, huh? Hey, Charles, back to AMA mode. Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be in AMAs. I like AMAs. I'm going to write more. I'm going to do more AMAs. We're really going to focus on building my podcast studios up so I actually have appropriate location to do the AMAs from. It's going to take a little bit of time to do that.